What's up, guys? It's that guy, Tommy, and we are back with part 3 for the SOMA lore series. Probably split this video up into 2 parts. Don't know if I'll do the full 42 minutes for this one. These last 3 videos are actually pretty long. There's actually another SOMA lore video that I think we'll watch after these to get more of the story, and then just to have some fun and come up with still coming up with theories and reactions for it. So yeah, so let's jump in and let's see where this one's taking us. Oh, SOMA lore Part 3, The Horror from Delta, which is easily one of the creepiest sections of this game or any game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Warning. Reactor collapse imminent. Proceed to the emergency vessels.
Okay, I'm in.
Now let's get the hell out of here.
It's taking so long.
We need to pump all the water out before we take off.
Can't you do it any faster?
I'm almost there. Brace for impact! Hold on, the blast just pushed us off the plateau.
What does that mean?
If I don't hit Delta, we're dead.
Simon has wandered the hulls of Upsilon. He's traversed the pelagic underworld of the Atlantic and made his way through the Curie, all in hopes of finding answers and eventually reaching the Ark. He has seen so much, learned so much.
Oh,
But it's at Delta.
that's we mentioned the Ark just now. That's something. After you meet Catherine, she mentions the Ark, which is a so you see how everyone has copies of their personalities and minds and these robots and whatnot. Well, the Ark is the original where all these copies are originally supposed to go. And that way, the Ark's basically like a repository of human knowledge, more or less, with the Pathos 2 staff and team being loaded onto the Ark and to shoot it out into space. Basically, it's just like a digital AI world that would just preserve what's left of humanity, which, as you saw from the last video, ain't much. So, I think there's things in the game I forgot to explain because A, spoilers, and then B, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already know the story of SOMA. But in case you didn't and want to know what's happening and what the Ark is, that's what the Ark is. So
Where Simon stumbles upon the WoW's most horrific tableau yet. After the EV crash, Simon wakes on the doorstep.
Oh, let's
of
just
Site
back up a
Delta.
few seconds just so you guys can hear that full thing he just said. Sorry.
Simon has wandered the hulls of Upsilon. He's traversed the pelagic underworld of the Atlantic and made his way through the Curie, all in hopes of finding answers and eventually reaching the Ark. He has seen so much, learned so much. But it's at Delta where Simon stumbles upon the WoW's most horrific tableau yet. After the EV crash, Simon wakes on the doorstep of Site Delta. Much like the other Pathos 2 stations, Delta is abandoned and fallen into disrepair. Upon arrival, he finds a series of tracks leading towards an assembly line, where large, empty shells sit unused. These resemble the space gun capsule found at Site Phi, indicating that it's here, at Delta, where these containers were manufactured. Following the tracks in the opposite direction, Simon discovers a series of outbuildings, a comms antenna, a landing platform, and a lone mockingbird. Delta, it seems, is little more than a ghost town. It's quiet and unassuming. The only source of sound to cut the silence is the voice of the universal helper, the aforementioned mockingbird, which, after listening to its dialogue, we can identify as David Goyer, a wrangler who was stationed at Delta. Unlike many of the other mockingbirds found roaming around the Atlantic, this one is not hostile.
And so that's interesting because A, a lot of the mockingbirds are hostile. They want to attack you. And B, they also think that they're still human. Because Simon thought he was human. Simon thought he was a person until in the comm center for Upsilon, when the water came in, then he saw that he was in the diving suit. So I wonder, I constantly wonder about that part of it. Of course, in story, in game, thinking of how your brain connected that it's still human. How did that program trick your brain into seeing that you and not noticing that you're like freely swimming way faster than a human would walk underwater. You're basically floating, or like in the case, like let's take Carl from Upsilon when he was trapped, stuck. Did he see himself as injured and he couldn't move? Do these things perceive time slower, so their way, even though they're floating in the water, they can't tell? That's all really interesting stuff, and that's really tricky how like the brain chemistry of that could work. And also, brain chemistry can be weird like that. You like take it like when you're in a dream, or like when you're on some kind of medication and you like if you're having surgery, you come out of it, you're still loopy, and you don't even know who people you're talking to are. You've known them for your entire life. That's it's crazy stuff. But like that's one of the reasons why I think this game is so fantastic. So let's keep going.
Delta is, for lack of a better word, safe. However, that doesn't mean it hasn't been affected by the WoW's perverse machinations. Months before Simon awakens in Upsilon, Delta was home to Astrid Krier, Brandon Wan, Javid Goyer, and Terry Akers. Judging by the shipping manifest found near the Zeppelin's landing platform, it would seem the WoW's corruption hadn't had much effect on Delta, at least not at the same time as the other Pathos 2 stations. For instance, while Upsilon staff was scrambling to evacuate and activate its automation process, Delta was still receiving shipments from other stations, the most recently documented being a malfunctioning Haimatsu suit from Site Phi. For them, it was business as usual. Robotic assembly arms
That Haimatsu suit, that's going to come into play later, and I'm wondering if it's one in particular that does have a story implication later. I wonder. Let's go back a second.
was still receiving shipments from other stations, the most recently documented being a malfunctioning Haimatsu suit from Site Phi. For them, it was business as usual. Robotic assembly arms constructed the payload capsules for the space gun, while Delta's Wranglers piloted UHs to do repairs, research, and cartography. If the Javid Goyer Mockingbird is any indication, life at Delta was likely slower paced in comparison to the other stations. With the exception of Brandon Wan, it can be surmised that all Delta staff shared a unanimous affection for the station. Some more than others, it seemed. On August 12, 2103, Terry Akers, the station's chief factor, was contacted by Dorian Kronstedt, the administrative supervisor of Theta. He informed him that the crew of Delta was to evacuate the Theta. Akers was less than thrilled by the order, but complied nonetheless, agreeing to relocate his staff while he remained behind at Delta. It appears that Akers then excommunicated himself from all other staff. On December 25, 2103, Peter Strasky, the dispatcher at Theta, reached out to him after months of radio silence, but
Hold on, I'm gonna read a couple of those emails. Terry's been decided you and your crew will evacuate the Theta on the 14th. Everything is being taken care of. You will be given a new position when you arrive. You'll have the ranks of course. The last thing we need are more. You'll fall in the ranks of course then. And then, wow. This is my order. This is your. You want to stay? Anyways, time if you want to hang out. Your crew's moving tomorrow. On step. And what was Mr. waiting for you and your crew? Huh.
On December 25, 2103, Peter Strasky, the dispatcher at Theta, reached out to him after months of radio silence, but the olive branch either went unnoticed or ignored entirely. Akers never responded. Then, on January 15, 2104, Akers broke his silence and contacted Strasky.
Peter, can you hear me?
I hear you, Terry. I mean, Mr. Akers, sir.
I've changed my mind. I would like to come to Theta. Let Delta sleep.
Of course. Wow. Honestly, didn't expect to hear from you again. Such a long time since you checked in. We have a few divers in a Zeppelin surveying Lambda at the moment. I'll just make sure they pick you up when they're done.
Thank you for the warning. I'll make sure they feel welcome.
Okay. See you when you get here.
That is the single most evil laugh I think I've ever heard. Did y'all hear that? Like, that is, like seriously, like, yeah, it's like, listen to this.
Thank you for the warning. I'll make sure they feel welcome.
Okay.
If that ain't the I have a gun behind my back and I'm ready to shoot you in the face laugh I've ever heard in my life, I don't know what is, but trust me, dude, you'll see why that laugh was like that. Ugh.
See you when you get here.
The monotone and stilted nature of his voice seemed to unnerve Strasky. In truth,
Wouldn't it unnerve you? Like, seriously.
if he could see the face attached to that voice, he'd be terrified to the brink of madness.
Okay, I don't know if you guys got to see that because of the resolution of both my screen and the intended hidden shadow of the. But you're gonna see it later on the. But let me see if you guys can see it again. I'm looking at the screen here.
The
Let's see.
monotone and stilted nature of his voice seemed to unnerve Strasky. In truth, if he could see the face attached to that voice, he'd be terrified to the brink of
You
madness.
can kind of see it.
Sometime later, the Komarebi survey group arrived, fresh from their investigation of Site Lambda. They were to extract Akers and bring him to Theta so that he may rejoin the other members of his team. However, things did not go according to plan. The being at Delta may have resembled Akers, but he most certainly was not Akers. Not anymore, at least.
Oh, and how he can do this is that's an image to freeze on. Is that he can his ability to data mine the black boxes that the entire crew of Pathos have.
You saw that, right? You saw Akers fucking injecting that shit into them?
He got me pretty bad.
I think I made it worse pulling away. I can feel it bleeding out. Can you see him?
Fuck. He got on the Zeppelin. He's going back to Theta. We have to warn them.
Good luck with that. The platform radio is dead. Remember?
The Lumar Annex should work. It has to.
Yeah. You go. I'm not gonna make it. I'm just not.
Come on, Evans. We have to warn them. Come on.
Data mining the body found in Delta's control room reveals that Akers attacked the extraction team and injected some of them with, presumably, structure gel. The face and chest of the body found in the control room, which belongs to Sean Evans, is covered in bizarre gaping punctures, which might have something to do with those injections. It could be argued that those aren't wounds at all, but are instead growths, calcified like pieces of coral and resembling something similar to what we'll see on Akers' body later on. It can be speculated that these growths might actually be the end result of his injections, though it isn't really clear. Interestingly, the bodies found near the Zeppelin landing site are nowhere near as skewered as Evans's. They are instead fused into what resemble biomasses, a metamorphosis which also might have something to do with Akers' injection. In truth, the only member of the extraction group whose physiology is neither changed nor consumed is Maggie Komarebi's, which I presume is because she managed to avoid being injected by Akers entirely. However, that did not save her from meeting the same dark fate as her comrades.
Come in, Strasky. Can you hear me? Theta, listen. Akers is headed for Theta.
Delta Lumar Annex, getting a signal but no audio.
Strasky, it's Komarebi. Akers has gone mad. He's dangerous. Strasky!
Sorry, Delta, still no audio. Try calling from another access point.
Strasky, I can try sending pictures.
Komarebi's body can be found in Delta's auxiliary station. Her remains are attached to a cable connected to the WOW. Besides her corpse is a PDA, which contains photos revealing the final moments of the Komarebi survey group. These photos also provide Simon, and the player, the first real glimpse of Terry Akers. The next glimpse comes in a far more disturbing form. In one of Delta's outbuildings, Simon finds a pair of eyes, sitting neatly in a pool of blood.
That one sentence. Found a pair of eyes, sitting neatly in a pool of blood. And we're still dealing with this because I guess at this point Simon is like, what else I'd have to lose? But like, this is the moment where I'm like, yeah. And for that reason, I'm out. At that point, seriously, I just had to tell Catherine, look. So we ain't getting on this arc and we ain't going nowhere. just is what it is. Sorry. Let's keep going.
It's a macabre scene, punctuated by the writing found on the walls. Writing which speaks of divinity, but reeks of madness. The words indicate that the eyes found on the floor were forcibly...
Okay. The light is hurting my eyes. He's telling me I don't need this vitreous? Vitreous? Wow, I'm an English major and I'm getting that word wrong. Vitreous flesh inside of my skull to see salvation. I will gladly remove them. Stop them from obfuscating this divine mission. You gotta be a special kind of crazy to rip your eyes out of your skull. Okie dokie. But this really is speaking to what the madness that the WoW brings. In various forms, but let's keep going.
Involuntarily removed by Akers himself in an attempt to fulfill his mission to the WoW. There's even a madly scribbled note found on a nearby console which helps reinforce the macro timeline. With this, we can determine that Akers was still Akers as far back as July 2103, since the note states, half a year ago, I'd be worried.
Sounded more small claimed out to half a year ago, I'd be worried. Wait, I won't clean the black blood from the machinery. Now it's even a John what Delta was. Yeah, he's crazy.
If we can take the half-year claim at face value and map it up with when the Komarebi survey group had arrived at Delta, then we can surmise that Akers did not start succumbing to the WoW for about a month prior to being contacted by Dorian Kronstent, which would likely explain his unwillingness to leave Delta. So what triggered his change? Judging by the photos and drawings found in that outbuilding, Akers seemed to have a fondness for coral. It's a relatively innocuous observation, and yes, it could mean nothing at all. Just an example of the game's writers imbuing a character with idiosyncrasies in an attempt to humanize him. But without jumping ahead, consider what's become of his body when we do finally see him at Theta. These drawings and the photos serve two purposes. One, to provide hints of the horror to come, and two, to provide insight into a possible fixation that may have had some influence on the monster he becomes. If nothing else, Akers did seem to love chess, as exemplified by the words of the Goyer Mockingbird, and by the play count found on Akers' computer. Interestingly, when you try to start a game of chess using one of those computers, you get an error message stating corrupt opponent, which is a playful, if not subtle, nod towards Akers' corrupted state of being.
That's such a good little hint.
Pushing forward, Simon manages to hail the Zeppelin. When it docks, he can data mine an audio exchange from a nearby transmitter. This one between the corrupted Terry Akers and the WoW.
Do you hear me speaking? Of course you do. I wanted to let you know that I know. You didn't blindly pick me out of the herd. The slow waves of Delta crashing against the shore have an undertow that pulls you into a slumber. It's a beautiful thing. And I won't be selfish. I will help. Tuck them in, watch them sleep. They too will find peace within the universe of the WoW.
Bro, square up.
It's safe to presume Akers contacted the WoW while en route to Theta, as this would likely be the first time since the evacuation of Delta that he had left his station. The transmission proves that Akers was fully conscious while riding the Zeppelin. However, after disembarking the Zeppelin, Simon finds another transmitter. Data mining this one reveals that Theta's rescue team actually found Akers unconscious.
Strasky, wake up Dr. Masters. We're bringing in Akers.
What's wrong?
What can I say? He's had a rough day.
Jesus Christ. He's all butchered by structure shrapnel. The WoW sure did a number on him.
Brandon, flip the panic switch on the suit. I don't want to burn through the oxygen.
You're kidding, right? He's fucking hanging on by a thread. We need to move him.
Strasky, get the infirmary ready. We need to move fast.
Wait, where are Komarebi and the others?
This is all we got. I guess it's still at Delta.
Emma, I can't do this on my own. Grab the other side.
Strask, ready or not, we're coming in.
All right, see you soon.
I believe it likely that this unconsciousness was self-induced.
I thought so too.
Granted, there hasn't been a precedent set in-game to support this theory, but it's the only logical conclusion one can make regarding how and why Akers, who was previously awake at Delta, is now unconscious. The abilities of the proxies aren't entirely defined, so the theory holds water as far as I'm concerned. Simon arrives at the grounds surrounding Theta. It's here...
Real quick, proxies are creatures that are pretty much controlled and made up of the WoW by the structure gel and everything like that. The Jiangxi counts as a does it count as I think it counts as a proxy, just like an upgraded one, kind of like what Akers is and what you'll see when we meet him.
As I'm concerned. Simon arrives at the grounds surrounding Theta. It's here where the narrative focus shifts a bit. Our time in Delta had been building up to an encounter with Akers. However, the early portion of Theta concerns itself less with Akers and more with fleshing out the backstory of what happened with the ARC project. This is going to be a huge detour, but one that must be taken since Delta and Theta are interconnected in a way that all other hitherto sites have not. Near the Zeppelin landing site, Simon finds a handheld communicator, which he can data mine.
Sarah, are you there? Who is this? Catherine? I'm busy working. Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for what you did. Don't worry about it, but you should stand up for yourself. I mean, Strohmeyer doesn't have that kind of authority. You could just tell him to go fuck himself. Oh, I just don't. I'm not that kind of a person. You can't expect people to fight for you all the time. You're a brilliant person, Kath. You're so smart it makes my head spin, but sometimes you just disappear into yourself. Suddenly it's like talking to a fucking 5-year-old. It's just hard. I can't just be more like that. Everyone would know I'm pretending. It's not too late to win people over. Strasky likes you. I like you. Reed likes you. Strasky likes everybody. Yeah, that's true. Wait, you think Reed likes me? Catherine, a lot of people like you. You just need to open up a little. Be more approachable.
Man, asking randomly if people think like, yeah, me and Catherine, we're right here on that.
Can I get back to work now? I'd rather not be reprimanded twice in one day. Okay, see you back inside. Over and out.
This communicator reveals that Catherine was in contact with a colleague named Sarah, a woman who will prove to be the ultimate epitaph of humanity. Catherine, as it turns out.
Oh yeah, Sarah plays a huge role in as part of this game, and narratively speaking. Like seriously.
Ultimate epitaph of humanity. Catherine, as it turns out, was prone to being harassed by a man named Strohmeyer. A nearby communicator provides further insight into this conflict.
This thing on? Can everyone hear me?
Go ahead, Strom.
Listen up, all members of staff. The ARC project has caused a lot of arguments the last few months. I'm not going to pretend I understand what the hell Sarang talked about and how his continuity suddenly made sense to kill yourself. For the fucking love of God, or whatever you think is important, don't kill yourself. This place is miserable enough. Don't force your friends to clean up your blood. Rest in peace. Quality. Good?
Beautiful, sir. All right, everyone. Show's over. Get back to work.
Strohmeyer, the host of the transmission, reveals that the ARC project was connected to someone called Sarang, whose idea of continuity convinced some people at Theta to commit suicide. This is expounded on further when Simon encounters another Mockingbird, this time on the doorstep of Theta. This one, like the Carl and Goyer Mockingbirds, is not hostile, and, also like its predecessors, it isn't entirely lucid either.
It's different, though.
Hello?
Who is that? Mark?
No, we haven't met before.
Is this ARC?
I think we're safe.
Oh, I was so worried something had gone wrong.
What's your name?
Robin Bass, Theta Field Service Technician.
Nice to meet you, Robin. How did you get here?
I got scanned, like the others. And then I killed myself. At least I think so. I can't remember that part.
How does that work? Did dying get you into the ARC?
Wow, you're definitely not from Theta. Let me guess, Omicron? Wasn't sure Catherine would be able to scan you guys. You're lucky. There was a lot of talk about this at Theta. The idea is, when you're activated in the Ark, there's basically two of you, right? One human, one living scan in the Ark. You don't want your copy to survive you. You yourself want to survive on the Ark. If the human you dies before the scan is initiated, or closely after, you yourself would live on in the Ark. Amazing, right?
Did Catherine put you up to this? Killing yourself?
Catherine Chun? No. I don't think you understand. She just did scans and put them into the Ark. I hope I get to meet her soon so I can apologize. She always got into trouble with Strohmeyer when someone killed themselves.
I think she's okay with it.
Where is everyone? I thought there would be like 40 or 50 people here.
I don't know. I'll let you know if I see anyone.
The Mockingbird is simulating the personality of Robin Bass, one of the many victims of the wildfire notion the people of Theta called the continuity. She explains that she killed herself after getting scanned, so that she could access the Ark. Robin here functions as a bit of a data dump, providing Simon and the player with a plethora of clues into what happened at Theta. 1. She indirectly tells us that the staff of Omicron were considered less likely to be scanned for Catherine's Ark project. 2. She expounds on the reason why she killed herself, claiming that if the human you dies before the scan is initiated, or closely after, you yourself would live on in the Ark. 3. She confirms that Catherine had nothing to do with the rash of suicides that spread throughout Theta. And 4. She reasserts what we learned from the handheld communicator, that Strohmeyer held Catherine personally responsible for the suicides.
Which is ridiculous.
As stated previously, Robin's dialogue is filled with important plot points. There's a great deal to mull over, and we'll examine all of them organically.
And that's a good place to stop. Break this up. If you guys want to watch the rest of it on your own before the next video gets posted, go for it. Should be posting the next one tomorrow as well, about noon. Yeah. So the continuity stuff is insane in when it gets explained. Not insane in terms of like why would you think that? Because honestly, I kind of get why they think. It's just that the notion of going, when it gets explained, and we'll get there in this video, you guys will see. So we'll stop there for now, and pick this up right back up in the next video. And I'll probably have to, if I don't finish out this one in the next part, then I'll do this one in 3 parts. Then that might be an indication of how I do the next one after that. Oh, excuse me. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch the rest of Gameological Dig's Soma Lore videos, be sure to go check them out. And then if you just want to hear me talk about them, or if you want to just watch me talk about them, then, hey, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining here today, and I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All the socials are right there. That's YouTube, Twitch, IG, Bluesky, X/Twitter. Twitter/X, and of course, if you're ever blessed to be a blessing, that CashApp right there. The Facebook, of course, is on its way. I say that all the time, but it is. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the love, appreciate the support, and be good to yourselves, be good to each other. You got this crazy world, just be good people, and I'll see you guys next time. Minasan, sayonara, peace. What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out the video. Really appreciate you. You guys are wonderful. You're stupendous. You're magnanimous. It's a great word, isn't it? Magnanimous. Anyway, thanks for watching. Keep on the lookout for more. Follow me on all my socials. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. That really helps me out. Thank you guys so much for checking me out, checking out the videos, and get ready for more coming down the pipe, because you never know what's coming next. See you guys soon. Peace. I think that was pretty good.